What are you talking about? I mean, so I recently checked out Rick Beato's video that he did with John Petrucci, Devin Townsend and Tosin Abasi, and the whole thing is really just like a basic sit down chat that they have. It's very, very chilled out, it's very relaxed. The whole video is incredibly interesting and I highly recommend that you check it out at some point. But one bit in particular really caught my eye. They get around to talking about practice routines sort of like towards the latter half of the interview.
We were talking about transcription earlier and how you have to listen in a really detailed way. And now that I'm seeing that you are picking it, I'm realizing that the fact that I thought that you were plucking it is inconsistent with what it actually sounds like.
This is why I love Rick's content so much, because it digs deep into the minds of the musicians, what they're really up to, what they're doing really in their own personal realms of influence, which is great for fans like myself because it helps you see these people as, like, you know, not just these abstract, distant individuals, but in fact have this whole internal process that helps create this wonderful music in the first place. I really like this bit where John Petrucci shows you this picking idea where it's very clearly one note per string and one pick attack alternate picking per note as well.
Focusing on really just getting this hand to navigate across only one string at a time.
So those John Petrucci style arpeggios where you're basically hitting one note with one attack. So check it out. I'm gonna go for a downstroke, then an upstroke, then a downstroke, then an upstroke, then a down, up. Normally when you're sweep picking, it's all in one continuous motion. You can see there my right hand is just going. What he's saying though is go about it doing every single one picked up and down, which is much, much harder. Of course, it wouldn't be an interview with Tosin Abasi without some next generation guitar technique. But then Devin Townsend drops this on everyone.
Devin, what do you practice?
Well, I built a little studio at home, but I've got it wired up so throughout where I live, everything's kind of wired together. So I've got a station in the morning that I make coffee, and I've got a thing where I put the coffee there, and then I've got my looper and a bunch of helix stuff, or like the Line 6 helix, the loopers in it. And there's these videos you can watch online of just 10-hour train rides to the North Pole. So it's just a cab view going through.
What?
And I make loops that when I start working at night, I can unmute it in my room and I can say, oh, where were we this morning?
Holy shit, what are you talking about? I mean, is that just the most amazing thing you've ever heard in your life or what? I love this on two fronts, people. First of all, because it's such an incredibly creative way of interfacing with your instrument and music in general.
And then I just drink coffee.
But also because it promotes the drinking of coffee. And I've come to realize in my more twilight years that, of course, drinking caffeinated beverages is clearly what life is all about.
While you're watching, you just basically, yeah, this is clearly not what I meant to do. But you just basically just kind of just like jam while you're thinking about other things, you know, and then eventually things start to evolve that you can then have as a soundtrack to the day. And then, yeah, I just drink 3 or 4 coffees and then I let it loop. And then by the time the day's over, there's a lot of material that actually comes from that.
I must have listened to this like 30 times. I'm so awestruck. And this is where Devin stands out because he isn't just like some guitar nerd guy who's great at shredding. He's thinking of these fantastic ways to enhance your creativity. Listen to what John Petrucci says here.
Wow. That's so cool.
It's awesome.
I like that.
It's awesome.
I like that better than my stupid stuff.
That just sums it up perfectly. What can we take from this as artists and guitarists ourselves? Well, firstly, There's something quite crucial that I think Devin says here that's probably very easily overlooked, and it's simply this. He does this for hours at a time. It's not like a half an hour exercise that he's doing. He's sitting down and he's spending like a good portion of the day, it sounds like, focused on this particular exercise.
So when I unmute it at night, I'll be working on something and I unmute those 2 lines. And I'll be like, oh, that's cool. I wouldn't have thought of that. And then it's, and then you can take that and the line that's going from the lounge into there has got a pitch on it as well. So then you can modify it to whatever you're working on. And if it's just a cloud, then essentially it becomes like a keyboard, right?
That just goes to show this isn't some like, hippie bull crap. It's not to do with that. This is a really dedicated exercise with an intent behind it. You can have the best, most profound technique in the world, but unless you're really trying to say something artistically, I don't think it even matters that much. It's just like some hobby like anything else. The thought I had on this as well is like, it's so crucial to keep trying to reinvent things and trying to find new ways to excel as an artist and as a musician. Changing your environment like this can provide very unique insight into creative pathways that would otherwise be undiscovered. I really love these unconventional methods of trying to expand your creativity and hone into something very deep within yourself. Devin exemplifies it absolutely perfectly here, and one can't help but be reminded of other unorthodox, shall we say, methods of creativity that came about in the past. So have you ever been drifting off for a nap or something like that, and then you get like this really, really profound idea? It could be like I don't know, an invention, or just, oh, I should say that to this person, or I should change this about my daily routine or whatever. But then unfortunately you end up falling asleep and you hit a deep sleep, and then you can't really remember what the hell you were talking about when you woke up. Allegedly, Thomas Edison used to counter this by having a metal ball in his hand, or like a metal spherical object, wait until he drifted off to sleep, and then would drop the metal ball on a metal plate which would clang and then wake him up. And he'd wake up and have a great idea apparently, and then write it down and capture it. Note to self, steal Nikola Tesla's ideas. Smiley face. Lads, I've made the mistake of sitting down in a beanbag and I cannot get up. Other than making me want to watch expeditions to the North Pole, I've got to say this isn't the first time I've had my mind blown by Devin at all. It seems to me that everything that he does is geared towards trying to gain a unique creative insight. And I'm reminded of earlier footage that I've seen of Devin when he was in the project Strapping Young Lad. He'd write songs in all kinds of bizarre ways and about bizarre concepts. In particular, I think there's one that he used like Morse code or something to come up with a specific rhythm.
And I found a program online that you could input text into and it would generate a Morse code. I started thinking, okay, well, how would this alien, this metaphoric alien, present itself? So the message in info dump in the Morse code is, if I can remember, x squared plus y squared equals z squared. All is in an echo. Reflections of an eternal present. Connect now and emerge. Om, om, om.
Again, just so cool. Just really interesting, unique angles of thought there to try and generate truly like unique and individualistic ideas. I absolutely love it. I'm such a huge fan of Devin. It is endlessly fascinating to me, and I'm just so grateful that we've got people like Rick Beato who wants to, generate this community of people and share it with the world. It makes it feel like music is this thing that's happening right now. And it's not just something to be looked back upon retrospectively. I've talked about this in other videos, but it is so important to have a current, relevant, immediate and thriving sense of community in music. It's not just some nostalgic thing. You guys tell me, what did you think of this interview? Have you seen it all the way through yet? If not, go and check it out now. What do you think that we can take and learn from these kinds of discussions as budding musicians ourselves? Leave a comment down below. Smash that like and subscribe button. You know how it goes. Oh, and by the way, I have now signed up to buymeacoffee.com, so if you're feeling especially generous, you can hit me up there. Follow High Charity on Spotify, follow High Charity on Instagram, and I'll see you in the next one.